On July 9, U.S. President Donald Trump kicked off a three-day summit in Washington, D.C. with the presidents of 5 African nations, an event the White House described as a tremendous trade opportunity. The event drew attention because President Trump's guests this time included the leaders of Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mauritania, and Senegal, countries that are not considered major African economies. Under previous U.S. administrations, African leaders typically visited the White House to discuss financial and humanitarian aid. This summit, however, focused on U.S. trade policy with the 5 African nations, as all of them are currently facing a 10% tariff imposed by the Trump administration on their exports. During the live broadcast meeting at the White House on July 9, the African leaders praised President Trump and encouraged the strengthening of economic partnerships with the United States. President Mohamed Ould Ghazouani of Mauritania was the first to speak, referring to the U.S.-brokered peace agreement between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda. President Ghazouani stated, "Just months after returning to office, President Trump came to rescue peace. He swiftly resolved a complex issue in Africa." The 4 other African leaders repeatedly echoed this sentiment, with most expressing support for nominating President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye praised Trump's golfing skills and invited the U.S. leader to open a golf course in his country. The African heads of state also used the opportunity to showcase their country's natural resources and valuable raw materials, including rare earth minerals. Some leaders directly invited American investors to explore business opportunities. Nikes Mulumbi, head of a non-governmental organization in Gabon, said that the Trump administration's focus in Africa centers on valuable resources amid growing competition with major powers such as China and Russia. Mr. Mulumbi said, "All the African countries whose leaders were invited to the White House this time possess important mineral resources such as gold, oil, manganese, gas, timber, and gemstones, particularly Senegal, Mauritania, and Gabon." Gabon holds around 25% of the world's manganese reserves and supplies 22% of China's imports of the mineral. Manganese is used in the production of batteries and stainless steel. Mr. Mulumbi noted that the United States may seek to strengthen ties with Gabon not only because of its valuable mineral resources, such as manganese, uranium, and oil, but also due to its strategic location along the Gulf of Guinea. With an 800-kilometer coastline, this could be a potential site for the military base the U.S. is planning to establish in the region. During his first term, President Trump praised Africa as a place of great business potential and met with leaders from several countries in the region to promote prosperity and peace. Now, in his second term, Trump is turning his attention to Africa's mineral resources, seeking to compete with major rivals for access to them. Christopher Afoke-Asike, a professor of African politics and international relations at the University of Pretoria in South Africa, believes that President Trump's meeting with the 5 African leaders is part of a broader effort to gain influence in the region, as both China and Russia are also seeking to expand their presence and interests on the continent.